24/7 Sports.
Hi, Tim. Coach said you're expected to get some of your corners back this week. That's got to feel good. Can you get into that a little bit, trying to get healthy there at that position?
Yeah, we just got to wait and see toward the end of the week how those guys feeling, and hopefully we get them back. It would be good to be at full strength with them, but we try to get the other guys ready because we won't know that till probably toward the end of the week.
I know the plan was not just to have 6 scholarship corners, but that's reality. Circumstances happen. Just how big of a concern is that for you, only having 6 scholarship corners on the roster?
No, you deal with the situation as it is. That's why we try to have everybody ready. Because when your numbers call, you got to be ready to perform. So we try to develop all the guys and make sure everybody's on the roster is ready to go because that's the part you can't control. So you try to control the controllables.
Right behind him, Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
Because of the small numbers that you had out there this year, and it's a young room anyway, I guess, but did that increase the urgency to get Jair and I guess Ryan Turner too ready to contribute early this season?
We just kind of go about that plan anyway. We try to, because we know, over the course of time, things happen. So we always try to prepare for the unexpected, man. By when you're in the room, we try to treat every guy as you developing and preparing like you're going to play. That may not always happen, but we go through that process of preparing that way. So when you get the time, you're ready for it. And we can't do that week. That has to start weeks before that opportunity presents itself to you. So we kind of go in with that plan from the start.
As of the start of camp, how big of a role were you expecting Jordan Hancock to be playing right now, and how much of a kind of a hole is that leaving in your plan?
Yeah, we had big expectations for him, but again, like you said, you can't control those things. So that injury showed up, and then we had to go on to the next step, and that's why we try to really emphasize everybody in the room has to be ready because it can change in a heartbeat. And we're still going to kick off on Saturday, so we have to take that approach all the time. Those things and that mature, developmental, being a pro type approach is what we have to take because of the fact you can't control things that happen on a day-to-day basis. So we try to make sure those guys are always ready to go.
Fourth row middle, Pat Murphy, 24/7 Sports.
I know that Tanner's not technically in the cornerback room, but he has a lot of those traits. I'm just curious, in working with him, what you've seen from him. He was a guy that this offseason we heard a lot about his knowledge of the defense because he came from Oklahoma State. And now I think we're seeing what he can do on the field. So what have you guys seen in practice from Tanner?
Smart. Yeah, like you said, he has position flexibility. He's smart. He understands the defense, So the communication part with him is big, though that helps a lot with the corner because that's kind of a corner skill set a little bit. The same with Cam Martinez. Those guys kind of interchangeable, flexible a little bit with that. But his knowledge and his communication and his veteran leadership, that helps the younger guys come along.
And when a guy gets an interception, regardless of how it happens, do you see that just boost their play? I know that that's not the biggest thing, but it's a game-changing type of play. Does that change things with a guy?
Yeah, well, it is a big thing on the back end. Like I said, the ultimate goal is to get the football back. So, and to intercept the ball. When the ball is in the air, the goal is for us to intercept the ball and come down with the ball. They're throwing it. For us going to try to act like the receiver in that standpoint. So those momentum shifts and those plays like that really try to inspire. And hopefully it feeds us to try to go get more of them. And try to get a flurry of these things coming so we can get a lot of interceptions in the next few weeks and kind of get a little spurt of it going.
Fifth row left, Mark Snyder, Press Pros.
Yeah, Tim, Ryan said that Brown and Johnson were ready to play, and he wasn't surprised by what they did because of what they did in practice. But everybody's got that first extended time when they're practicing or playing the game. How do they change now when they're under the lights, Wisconsin, national TV? How do they change going forward mentally and confidence-wise?
Well, if you watch it, they took a lot of reps this offseason during training camp and everything. Those guys practice a lot, man. So, and we go against the best in the business every day at practice. So that preparation and giving them game ready, we kind of see that at practice a lot every day. And then on top of that, that's my job to try to make them calm and not bring any extra energy for them. We're just playing football. So we try to keep that under understanding and go out and do what you're trained to do because, under pressure, the most ingrained behavior is going to come out. So we try to make sure we ingrain the behavior, how we play, and just focus on doing our job one play at a time.
What was your first start like and what came of it? What did you think after
Well, it's the same thing. When I was here with Coach Cooper, we had great veteran leadership. So same thing. Guys took me under their wing and helped me, and that calmness of playing with guys really made it. I had Vinnie Clark and older guys, that Bo Pelini. A lot of guys there that helped me when I was younger to approach the game, simplify the game for me, help with the communication, so you could calm those nerves a little bit on game day.
Who was it against?
I can't remember. I can't remember.
Third row left, Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Tim, just what is your overall evaluation of how Jair performed in that first game as a true freshman?
He did well. Obviously there's some things we have to correct, but he did well of handling those things, and we just try to go on each week and each day to try to be better than we were the day before. So that's kind of the approach we take to how well are we progressing on a daily basis. That game is over, so we start a new week, and we got to start back from scratch with that foundation and with the work ethic and all those little things to make sure we prepared again for this week.
Did he play well enough that you consider giving him more reps now, even when the room is fully healthy?
He plays well. We kind of take that as it comes, man. You know what I mean? Because like I said, every day, we try to have it that we're competing every day out there. You know what I mean? So it's a daily progression. It's a daily prove yourself on the field type deal. But he did well. He's maturing as a young man. He puts a lot of great effort into it, man. Him and JK, they both do a great job of coming in, getting extra work, trying to prepare yourself. You got to do all of that. Really starts at the beginning of the week, so we try to make it as hard as we can the first few days of practice at the beginning of the week, so it can calm them down toward the end of the week. But he's putting all the effort in and the extra time in that you need to try to have yourself ready.
Right in front of him, Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Obviously, the silver lining of some of these injuries is, I guess if you want to call it that, JK's gotten a lot of reps these first 4 weeks of the season, and from the way Knowles talked about him, it's kind of a we'll see thing when we talked to him in fall camp about him. Just kind of give an honest assessment of where he's kind of improved over the last 4 weeks and how he's played in those reps.
He's doing as well. Again, if you look at it, he and Jair probably have taken the most reps of all the guys from the beginning of camp to now. So over a period of time, those reps help you grow. You learn and you keep progressing. And he's the same way, man. He's passionate about playing football. He works at it. He studies. And we just try to keep growing each week, each day, and then we start it back over. You know what I mean? So we put that behind us and we start it over fresh. Because each week is a new game plan. Each week is a new progression of where we're going on who we're seeing. So they have the effort, the energy, the work ethic, which they do, and it's my job to make sure I kind of help them keep progressing with that. But he's all in with it, man, and hopefully, keep stacking good days. That's the whole model. Just stack good days, and then at the end, it should hopefully play out like we like it.
And Denzel, pre-injury, wasn't necessarily having the best start to his second year here. I mean, how have you maybe been coaching him through some of those mistakes and some of those things he's had?
A day at a time, man. You know what I mean? Like you have to have amnesia out there. Because things happen, you can't worry and dwell on things out there because each week is a different challenge. So he's been doing a good job of putting it behind him, go to the next play, move on to the next game, and keep progressing. It was a long season. We're going to need all these guys coming down the stretch. So that's why we try to prepare everybody, man, and have everybody ready to go because we got to be able to control the things that we can control and keep getting better every day and working on the mental mindset and toughness of being able to move on from the next play, good or bad. Good or bad, we move on to the next play because you have to go play the next one.
Has he had moments where he was frustrated on the sideline with how things were going?
Well, sometimes, when a guy gives a play, they'll get frustrated for a second, but he pops right back out of it, man. Because they want to play well. You want to do well. So, but it doesn't linger. It doesn't dwell on it. Move on to the next one, and he has had a few good plays. So we'll keep building, and he's all into it. So we look forward to him getting back, man, and having a great season for us.
Got time for just a few more questions. Fourth row, right, Tony Girdman, Buckeye Huddle.
Tim, what did Sonny do to get in that game so early?
Well, he's been proving himself at practice every day, man. Again, he's a guy that's taking a lot of reps. He's got it. When you get a lot of reps, he's showing his level of maturity. He has he's very mature for a young age. And that starts, from home. His dad played with Lorenzo, man. So he has a football pedigree, has a football background. I played with Lorenzo, so he's used to being in tough situations. He's been well groomed there. Coach Eliano's done a great job with preparing him, gets him ready, man, and he's really serious about it. So he's mature for it, for his age with that. And takes it real serious. So he's progressing. He's a big kid. They're strong, man. So we're just looking for more and more out of him each week. But he's showing he can handle it, and he takes football very serious.
Are you surprised? He should be a high school senior, and he's in the box against Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. But like I said, it started where his dad did a great job with that, man. So and then Coach Eliano has really hit him hard with studying and preparing, and just trying to be ready for it. Because like you said, didn't know when that number is going to be called, man. So you have to be ready for it. So that's the approach we try to take in the room with all the guys, and hopefully he keeps progressing, and we look for great things from him in the future.
Right next door, Cameron Teague Robinson, The Athletic.
Tim, Jair kind of got called for that weird pass interference call where it didn't even look like the ball was thrown to his receiver. They score on that drive. How did you see him react to that? I mean, true freshman stepping in and be kind of a ghost call on that play.
We move on to the next one, man. I say again, so it's all we try to really emphasize. The thing I try to do with all those guys is develop a great relationship with them, because when you play defensive back, you're on an island. Things happen. So we have to really work on our mindset on moving on to the next play. The ref is not going to change the call, no matter how mad you get or how upset you get it. So we have to move on to the next play so it doesn't affect the next play. You know what I mean? So we try to make sure we take that approach. And I try to have that, if I'm not worried about it, don't you worry about it. So we can't really, dwell on it. So it happened. Let's go play the next one, because the next goal is to stop them. So we have to try to have that mindset. So we work on that, man, of not getting frustrated. And that's the approach we try to take with it, man. It's a mental mindset, tough capacity that we try to, work on how we go about approaching the game out there with that thought process.
Well, and that can be hard for a true freshman, first time under the lights. Just what does that say about his maturity that he's able to put that away so quickly?
No, it's really good. It's really good with it. But like you said, we try to work on it at practice. We try to work on things. So even at practice, when things happen, we try to how we respond to things is a big part of how things happen out there. And that's even when you hit a stretch of things going good. You can have a stretch of things going good, and you relax a little bit and get confident. They hit you with one. So we have to go to the next play regardless of the outcome of that play. It's one play at a time, and we truly try to go by that. Now, we may at times try to correct it in that moment, in the middle of a drive. We may try to reach out and say something to you, so, because we don't have a chance to get you to the sideline sometimes to try to get your mind in the right spot, but we really try to move on with that. So, and he's, like I said, he's really worked hard on his mind of approaching and being ready for those moments. So we try to talk about those things. We watch a lot of film together, and that's a great part on his, great job on his part, man, on being mentally tough to handle that situation.
Deep at the wall, Jeremy Birmingham, Rivals.
Tim, after 15 years in the NFL, and coming back to college football, you walk into a cornerback room that has 6 guys, 5 of which are first or second year players. So you go from coaching grown men to teenagers in a lot of cases. Was that a challenge that you like, or has that made this first year more difficult than you anticipated? Coming back to college, how has that been?
No, I like the challenge because my calling is the development of young men. You know what I mean? So it's fun to me. First of all, I get a chance to come back to my alma mater where I played football at. So that's like great for me. That's heaven to be back under the grounds where I played on. So I know the history, I know the tradition, and I know what comes with that. And the fact that you get to work with young men who have a passion to play at a high level, and you can be a part of their development is great for me. You know what I mean? So I look forward to the challenge. I embrace it. And we have a lot of great guys that love football, passionate about growing and learning. I know that starts with relationships. So I try to build great relationships with these guys. We work on football, and then I try to use, some of the things that I know about the game to try to help them see the game through a different light and try to expedite their learning curve. And then, and it's been good with them. But it all starts with the relationship with them. Spending a lot of time with them on the mental approach to the game, on trying to understand the things that happen, and it really helps us a lot at practice. Because, like I said, man, we see an outstanding quarterback, a great quarterback, and we have great receivers that we face. So that challenge for us hopefully keeps building us to better us for Saturdays, and we take it all serious. And those guys have been doing a great job, but it's been fun on working on their development.
For someone like Jair, who didn't have a relationship in the recruiting process, he's on campus when you got the job here, essentially. Was it a surprise to you how mentally tough he is, or do you know much about the things that he's dealt with, in recruiting and in his life before that?
Yeah, so, I found out early because, like I said, I think the key to everything is relationship and communication. So, the day I got on campus, the first thing I did is reach out to all those guys and start the development right then. You know what I mean? So in January, we started those relationships, first about you as a young man and about life. And then the football part would take care of itself. But I got to get to know them. I have to know all the things about them. I have to know how they think, the things that trigger them, the things that their thought process. And if you develop that relationship and they know you care, when you coach them hard, when you own them real tough, it doesn't affect them because you took time to develop the relationship and learn about the man. The same thing with J.K. and Cam Brown and Denzel and all of those guys, Ryan Turner, Jordan Hancock, that time has to be put in to learn them because they need to get to know you as well. You know what I mean? So I have to do the same things for us, opening up to get to know you because you want to really know the guy that you're dealing with every day and to know that it's genuine. So you spend a lot of time on and off the field on developing that. So when you're in the heat of the moment, everybody knows it's all about caring and it's about love in those moments of growth.
Front row, right, Tim May.
Monroe. Yeah. Tim, basically, when you came back, what is the biggest thing that's changed about the college game from when you played it that you had to sort of like maybe mentally adjust to coach it?
Well, football is football. It's obviously now things have changed with, the athletes now are bigger, faster, stronger, man. Taking care of their body development is a lot different. And then, the other outside piece of it, you know what I mean? Now, you have the NILs and you have the social media and you have all those other things that come back that you try to pull guys in from to keep it about football with the distractions now, and those things play a bigger part in it. So you just try to hone in, develop a relationship, and make sure they can focus on the main things, which is their academics and football and taking care of their body and their family and faith. So you try to keep it in that structure because now it can get all over the place. With some of that stuff, and like I said, we got great kids, man, and these guys really work at it. But that's the biggest difference of stuff, and that's a year-round process with things now. Obviously the recruiting part has changed because it's year-round all the time with stuff with the different signing periods and stuff now. So that was all different from when I was in college last or even when I played.
Yeah. And two other quickies. Who's first on the list of the guys you can grab from maybe the safety room if you need them? Because obviously y'all were almost down to bare bones this past weekend.
Well, like we said before, we have Cam Martinez, that he's flexible. We have Tanner, guys like that. That nickel position, those guys can be flexible there. So those would be guys that have the possibility if things happen to move it around. And we try to, like me and Pierre, we try to do a great job, man, of dual teaching and teaching guys things so that when it happens, you can be ready for any circumstance with that. But those would be the two guys.
Really quick, just to play just for halftime. Was that a blown coverage? Was that obviously it looked like J.K. maybe dropped off into his zone, whatever. I mean, obviously Tanner comes out of nowhere, it seems like, to make the play, but
no, it wasn't blown.
What were you feeling as that play was developing, and what did you feel when Tanner knocks it away?
No, it wasn't a blown coverage at all. It was 4th and 3. So we were looking for him to get the ball out quick to try to get a first down and then possibly try to get it in the field goal range with that, to try to steal 2 plays out of it. But they took a shot. So it was a 4th and 3 call to try to stop the short, quick game. They took a shot out of it in the zone coverage, and they went verticals out of it. Tanner was playing the half field, went over the top, knocked the ball down. So it was a great – and J.K. was just sinking, trying to get up under it. But that was a great play by Tanner to knock that ball down before the half.
Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
A couple of questions. Front row, Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Tim, just to follow up on Sonny, what do you see as his best attribute, best quality that he gives you guys? And I know you mentioned his size, but how much can that help you when you get kind of into the meat of the Big Ten play?
He's tough, man. He's tough, and he's seasoned for a young guy. And like I said again, he's very mature and very seasoned for a young guy. He takes it serious. His approach to the game, his football knowledge, he can apply it. He can take the information from the classroom and apply it on the field. And not all young guys can do that, that he can take it from the classroom and go apply it on the field with minimal mistakes. And like you said, and he has a football background of football understanding. So he understands the game some. So, and his approach to it, man, Like I say, he's very seasoned for a young guy, and I think it's going to be great things coming from him, man. And he fixes mistakes. You know, the things that he make a mistake on early, he fixes them. They don't show up a second time. So that just shows the level of being able to have recall of things that we do to keep applying it. So I'm sure down the weeks these things will get to show up on tape for us.
Was he playing? And to clarify, was he playing as much as he did last week because of the matchup, or was that Lathan being out?
Yeah, you know, it's all different. You know, sometimes we play guys because of different, you know, things that's going on. But he's working, man, and earning it, man. You know, so we look forward to it. And you know, Perry moved those guys around a little bit, man. Like I said, trying to you know, get this experience as we going down the stretch, because we're gonna need all of them.
And right next door, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Tim, having spent so much time in the NFL, when you come back here, you've been used to dealing with men who were obviously pros. Now you're dealing with 18-year-olds. What adjustment did you have to make in your coaching? Because that's one standard, and here's another standard.
I try to hold them to the same standard, because most of the guys that come here, they want to go to the NFL. That's their mindset. So I just try to escalate their learning on teaching them the game. You know what I mean? Because most of the guys at Ohio State, their plan is to become future NFL players. So I kind of coach and teach them the same of learning the game. The details of the game. Now, obviously, it's a little slower with some guys because of the fact they learn it, but we try to push that envelope with understanding football and the IQ level, being able to apply the schemes and the systems and seeing how offenses are trying to attack us. We try to go about the same way to get them ready to play, because with that, some of those guys may be escalated and having to play real early. And right now, you know, and we play big-time football out there with great opponents that we see. So you have to start getting them ready right now. So it's I kind of take the same approach with it, because that's their end goal anyway, you know, of where they want to get to. So I kind of take that approach with them, and maybe to slow it down some with some things, and is a progression to get to it. But you try to go about that same approach and just in a little bit of a slower rate.
When did you find out that you were not going to have Cam or Denzel, and what was that feeling like?
It was toward the end of the week. You know what I mean? Like I said, everything's kind of day-to-day basis as we're going through those things. But like I said, I go in with the approach of having everybody ready, because you got to control the controllables, control what you can control. So we go in, and we really emphasize everybody trying to be ready, because you never know. And when your number is called, we're kicking it off on Saturday regardless. So we have to be ready for that. You know what I mean? So, and if you prepare them, show confidence in them, and those guys know that you believe in them, they'll go give you your best. Like I said, we got great guys, man. And J.K. and Jair have done a great job of preparing and working. And, again, they practice a lot. You know what I mean? So they got a chance to see. So the way you get better is practicing. So they've taken a lot of reps. So a lot of that, and if you show confidence in them, they'll go perform, you know. So
when you told them, what was their reaction?
They were excited about it, you know. But they kind of ready for it. They kind of expect it, you know what I mean, when opportunity comes, you know what I mean. So it was a good feeling for them, and they did a great job. And you know, but like I said, we try to go about that daily approach with all the guys, because it can change in a heartbeat.
Coach, thank you very much.
Thank you.